The Iowa Spirit on 8.
It's 10 o'clock. And now from TV-8, where news is #1, Kevin Cooney, Kathy Saltero, Connie McBurney with weather, and Pete Taylor sports. This is TV-8 News live at 10.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. President Reagan and President-elect Bush both have been subpoenaed as defense witnesses in the Iran-Contra trial of Oliver North. Justice Department officials confirm the subpoenas are being sought by North's attorneys. North's attorneys also are seeking certain presidential records. The White House says administration lawyers tonight are considering the constitutional questions raised by the subpoenas. It would, of course, be unprecedented for a president to testify in a criminal trial. Tonight, North's attorney Brendan Sullivan had this to say about the subpoenas.
I can tell you this, that defense lawyers have an obligation under the law. Indeed, our professional canons of ethics require us to subpoena persons who have knowledge about the case in litigation. And I'm fulfilling my obligation by subpoenaing people that I believe have that knowledge. I really can't comment further.
Okay, what do you think the president will say?
I can't comment about the substance of a case.
Will there be more subpoenas?
We have issued many, many subpoenas in this case, and there'll be further subpoenas.
North's trial is slated to begin January 31st. North charged with conspiracy and theft.
24 hours after it started, an Omaha hostage drama came to an end this afternoon and ended violently. A gunman entered an Omaha beauty salon yesterday afternoon about 3 o'clock. Within minutes, he was holding 8 people hostage. TV-8 Sue Mason was in Omaha today and picks up the story from there.
The gunman released all but one of his 8 hostages before 8 this morning. They were shaken but unharmed. 21-year-old Michael Fain kept one hostage, though, an employee of the Possibilities hair salon. Omaha police cordoned off the area, and members of the Emergency Reaction Unit, or SWAT team, surrounded the building on the city's south side. During the standoff, police had been in contact with Fain by telephone. This morning, Fain told authorities, along with the gun, he had a bomb. He threatened to release a pressure-sensitive valve, causing the bomb to explode.
From that point on, our negotiators felt that the situation was deteriorating completely, that the remaining hostage was in increasing jeopardy.
The remaining hostage was whisked away by authorities after a police sharpshooter fired the fatal shot at Fain. He was killed nearly 24 hours after the standoff began. Authorities also successfully defused the bomb inside the building. Fain lived in Mason City and attended school for a time at the University of Iowa. Authorities dismissed earlier reports that Fain was going to rob the salon. They say he had a history of mental problems, and that was evident throughout the standoff.
He was making demands that were unrealistic and not justifiable.
Authorities still do not know what motive Fain had in going to the beauty salon, but police speculate his deteriorating mental condition may have sparked the incident. At Omaha Police Headquarters, Sue Mason, TV-8 News.
Des Moines police are looking for 2 men who held up the United Federal Savings Bank on Ingersoll this afternoon. Police say at around 2 o'clock, the 2 suspects walked into the bank, ordered all the employees down on the ground while they cleared out the teller's cash in their drawers. The 2 then reportedly made their getaway in a red Ford Thunderbird. One of the suspects, described as a heavy black male, was wearing a mask. The second man was white and carried a revolver. Just last week, a lone gunman robbed the First Interstate Bank at 35th and Ingersoll.
In news from overseas, more trouble for the Japanese government as another official is implicated in an insider stock trading scandal there. Today, the man who was appointed by Prime Minister Takeshita to investigate the trading scandal himself resigned. Justice Minister Hasegawa admitted that he had accepted political donations from the company that he was appointed to investigate. To date, 17 members of Japan's ruling party have been implicated in the trading scandal, where stock was offered to politicians before it went on sale to the public. Stock prices soared, and the politicians made thousands. A Soviet military tribunal today found the son-in-law of former President Leonid Brezhnev guilty of taking bribes and abusing his governmental position. Yuri Cherbanov, who served as the first deputy interior minister during Brezhnev's years in power, took thousands of rubles in bribes instead of enforcing Soviet laws, according to the judge who handed down the verdict today. The news comes one day after the Soviets stripped a memorial plaque from Brezhnev's home and changed the names of schools and factories that had been named after him. Soviet leaders say Brezhnev fostered an era of corruption and stagnation.
Few new developments in the investigation of the Pan Am Flight 103 disaster. As work crews were removing the cockpit from a hillside in Scotland, the Times of London newspaper was reporting on the elaborate triggering device authorities believe was used to detonate the bomb. The report says a barometric device was used to start a timer which set off the bomb. The idea is to foil airport security devices that could detonate a bomb triggered by pressure alone. 259 people were on board that plane. They died when it crashed down more than a week ago. Today, some of the victims were buried, including the first 4 to be returned to this country, a Dayton, Ohio couple and their grandchildren.
A crack was discovered in the nose cone of an American Airlines 727 that was picking up passengers in Des Moines late this afternoon. Pilots discovered the crack during a pre-flight walk-around of the aircraft. An American spokesman says the crack probably occurred when it was hit by a bird, and it wasn't related to the aircraft's age or any structural fatigue. Passengers on board the Des Moines to Dallas flight were rescheduled for a later flight. The 727 aircraft was flown to Chicago for repair of the fiberglass nose cone, which houses the aircraft's radar antenna.
Just ahead on the TV-8 news, home sales in Greater Des Moines took a big jump in 1988.
And it's been a bit too tight for some large trucks traveling down this downtown street.
You ever noticed how delicious Anderson Erickson sour cream dips lend a distinctive character to almost any dish? From zesty garlic to toasted onion, elegant chive style.
Really, darling?
French onion, even Mexican. And don't forget, AE dips also make excellent dips. Try all 6 all-natural flavors.